Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Dave and my goal is to help you level up as a data scientist. In today's video, I want to talk about data science project structures. This is something that I struggled with in the beginning of my career, in the sense that I didn't really have a proper structure for my projects. And now I'm typically a very structured person and I like to keep things organized. But the problem was that I was following lectures at university. I was following online courses. I was watching YouTube videos, and basically what would happen is I would always follow the structure that was given in either the course or the lecture or the video. This resulted in having a lot of projects on my computer, but all with a different structure. Now, if you're already working as a professional in a team with other people, there's probably a high chance that you already have a project structure that you have agreed on with your team to follow. But I think this video is mainly important for people that are still learning data science on their own and maybe recognize the problem that I just described. So in this video, I'm not going to tell you how you should structure your data science projects. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to structure them. Well, basically, there are probably some wrong ways to structure your data science projects, but you get the point. The main thing that I want to show you in this video is that consistency is more important than structure. So it doesn't really matter how you structure your projects as long as it works for you. But the important thing is to stay consistent. Now, there are a few things to consider when you're trying to come up with a data science project structure that will work for you. And the most important one being, at least in my opinion, the data science lifecycle. Now, if you search for this online, you will find a lot of variations, but they all share similarities. I think the most popular one is this one, the cross-industry standard process for data mining, which is often referred to as CRISP-DM. So when you're trying to come up with a project structure, it's important to keep in mind what this life cycle will look like for you or your team. So eventually the project structure can better fit your specific needs, requirements, and deliverables, etc. Also, Microsoft has some good resources on what they describe as the team data science process. This is a very detailed description of how they describe the data science lifecycle. So that's also something you can look into. Now, the example that I want to show you today is the Cookiecutter data science project structure. This is a structure that I've recently came across with, and I've used this as a starting point to basically come up with the structure that I now currently use. What I will now show you is how to get started with this Cookiecutter data science structure, then use the base starting point to create your own project structure, and that's what I've done. So they have turned this into a Python package that you can install using pip. If you want to go ahead and start with this, you should first run pip install Cookiecutter in the terminal. And once you've done that, you can use the following command, Cookiecutter, and then the link to the GitHub repository. I will now show you how to do that. So let me just copy this, hop into terminal, paste it here. So I'll do yes. Then you have to give a project name. So new project. Then the repository name, then you or your team's name. Let me fill that in. Then a description, then a license if you want to include one. So I'll do 3, no license file. I'll just leave this open. Then Python 2 or Python 3. So choose one for Python 3. And that's it. So what we've just done, so I ran this terminal from my desktop. So if I now go to my desktop folder, we see this new repository folder here, new project Dave. Now, and within this folder, you will find the Cookiecutter data science project structure. And as you can see, there are some folders, there are some files, there are even some subfolders. And to basically get big picture overview of how this structure is structured, you can have a look at this file. Yeah, this is also available within the README file as a markdown file. So I can also open this and you can check it out here. For now, I will just use the following structure over here. So now what I like about this project structure is that there is basically a place for anything that you could encounter in a data science project. So there is your data, your docs, models, notebooks, references. There's your source code, requirements.txt. So basically everything, there is a place for that, and it's very well designed in my opinion. I've been working with this structure for the past half year or so, and I really like it. I've made some small tweaks that I will show you in a bit, but overall the structure is still the same. I also like it that there's a description for every part within this structure, so you basically don't really have to think about where to put things, and that just really helps with consistency. If you're interested in using this structure, I would recommend to check out this webpage, read the article in full, because there's a lot of useful information in here, also about naming conventions that they recommend, how you should handle your data. Yeah, there's just a lot of really useful information in here. I will now quickly show you the changes I've made and what this will look like in a VS Code data science project. So if we go back to the folder that we've just downloaded, this is the folder structure that you will get when you run the Cookiecutter command in the terminal. So you will get all the files, all the folders, and basically what I've done is I've created a copy of this, and that is a folder that you see over here, so OO data science folder template. And basically what I've done is I've just removed some of the files. So the folder structure is still the same, also the subfolders. I didn't change anything about that, but I do think, at least for the projects that I'm working on, not all of the files are required. I would rather add them later when necessary than have them in by default. So if we go in here, what you can see, I basically have a folder name, and then here is the repository name, and then here are the folders. And as you can see, it's pretty clean. It's just a bunch of folders, a README and a requirements. That's what I include in all my projects. And if we go back here, there are some additional files that I don't include in every project. But of course, this is totally up to you. Find something that works for you. So what I've done, I've basically created a local folder, a template folder on my machine. And what I do is I use this folder to initiate new projects. So I basically duplicate this folder. And of course, you can also put this into a GitHub repository and then use that to clone into a new project. For now, I like this way of working, but if you're working with a team, it's probably a better idea to, as I said, put it on a GitHub repository so everyone can use that as a basis. Now, the final thing I want to show you is what this will look like in VS Code. This will also show you the hidden files that are within this folder. So the git ignore and the .environment, the .env file. This is also really convenient. There is a very extensive git ignore file in here that will basically exclude most of the common files that you would typically exclude, and this also includes the data folder. So if you're working with data sets, you typically don't want to push those to your version control platform, to GitHub for example. So that is excluded, and also like the checkpoints and other weird files that are sometimes created within projects that don't have to be in your source control. So that's really convenient. There's also an environment file that you can use to basically store environment variables. So this would be something like passwords or API keys that you don't want to store on your version control. This is what it looks like in VS Code. So you have your data, here your source code, and then also there are some template Python files already for make dataset, build features, your predict model, train model, etc. So the infrastructure is there. Now, before wrapping up this video, I do want to point out that this Cookiecutter data science project structure is only an example of how you can structure your projects. I think it's a very good starting point, but I would highly encourage you to try and find a project structure that works for you. So you can also look online for other project structures. For example, Microsoft with the team data science process also has a project structure that they provide. So here is the GitHub page for that. I will also leave a link to this page in the description. So yeah, the key takeaway from this video would be that if you don't already have a project structure, try and find one for your data science projects and stay consistent with it. You will really thank yourself later. So that's what I wanted to share in today's video. If this helped you out, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be making more videos related to Python, data science and machine learning. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to learn more, you should definitely subscribe. See you next time.